And welcome to Sports Weekly, where we talk about all kinds of sports. And I am with Prince again.
And we are here with Lars Mueller.
All right.
It just
How come you never do that to me, man?
James.
Sorry, never mind.
Yeah,
Forget it.
even the first
Time out.
name, it's already off. You're like,
Forget
that's
this guy.
great. Like,
All right. So let's go back to sports again. So sports injuries happen, but does an athlete, should they take time or should they rush it? Because sometimes they want to do it's a championship game. They want to get back as soon as they can, but they should. I think they should take some time, but sometimes I'm kind of in the split. So what do you think, Prince?
Oh no, why don't we start off with Lars?
Lars.
Our guest
Sorry.
first. Come on, man. You gotta be kidding me.
I guess what kind of injury are we talking about? What's the severity?
It could be anything. It could be injuries, but meniscus, and there's an ACL or Achilles. Hamstring.
You know what? I think I know what injury Lars is thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you an example. Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman. Those type of injuries.
That's bad. You should go on steroids. I'm not even kidding. If you break your tibia, steroids until you're to rehab, and then yeah. But no, I think there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. When you're injured, there's things you can push through. When you're hurt, you got to take time off, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm probably more on the side of taking more time, especially when it comes to head injuries and that sort of thing. In combat sports, I think guys come back way too soon. If you get knocked out, 6 months at minimum, no contact. And then in basketball and stuff, I think a lot of people. I mean, the technology is getting better and stuff, but from ACL tears and that sort of thing, I think I would wait on the side of taking more time off than a little bit, I guess. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How about you?
Yeah, no, I absolutely. And you know what comes into my head is that Kamaru Usman. He was, remember that? Okay, so there was the first loss. So this guy was his first loss in MMA. He was actually tearing up the game. He was knocking everyone out. But then he fought this one fighter who was just amazing jits. He was amazing grappler. And he had him in, I think it was a guillotine. And if Usman didn't tap out, he wouldn't be able to fight. I think the rules were if you get choked out or you pass out, you can't fight for the next 2 fights, right? And so he had to tap. He had no choice, right? So that just came into my head when we're talking about injuries and things like that. But I mean, for me, what I think is, I definitely think that you need to take the time off. I mean, you guys know the reason why people come back early is because my contract, my sponsorship. There's a lot of people laying on me, right? I can't take the time off, man. Okay, Lars, when you got injured, right? For you, I know it's amateur sport, but for you, was there any point in your time where you wanted to go pro? Where you want?
Oh, for sure, yeah. And I think, so I mean, if I look back, I think I did way too much. So I fought, I got dropped in a fight, and then we finished the fight, but then I fought 2 weeks later than that.
Wow.
And then I won that, but probably not the smartest thing to do. Even in between, when we were moving around, I could feel my head rattling when I was taking punches, and then I won that fight, and then I think I fought 2 months after that, had a tough fight, and then the first sparring session I was in after that, took one punch, got dropped, bad concussion. And the more you learn about injuries and stuff, it's not that one hit, it's the accumulation, right? So it wasn't, the one punch I took in sparring, that was nothing. It was that whole thing that happened beforehand. So to me, and that's what I tell all my friends who are coaches now, take care of your guys. Make sure you're looking out for them, right? But it's just, even KD, for example, in the finals, came back way too early. He was injured.
Yeah.
And they're you might get injured more. Tears his Achilles, which is the worst injury you could have. It's just wild. So, yeah, I think probably just having people around you that that care about you is probably the best part, or the most important part.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm kind of split on this one because I guess in combat sports is totally different because you really have to take your time. Nowadays in basketball, it's happening now that the load management, it happened with Kawhi Leonard.
You're right.
He started Spurs. That's why he got traded because he's having problems with Tony Parker and all those players that end up getting him traded to Toronto Raptors. But I think there's a certain extent that if it's really severe, like you said, like KD, you have to take your time. But when it comes to like freaking like meta world peace, this guy had the meniscus surgery. Is not as bad as ACL or any Achilles or anything. But this guy, after like 2-3 weeks, he came back to the finals. And they won the finals. And he helped the Los Angeles Lakers.
Have we forgotten about, there's a guy named Michael Jordan, and there was something called the flu games where
that's not, okay, I guess that's an injury.
That's the difference between, like I was saying, that's the difference between hurt and injured, right? There's some things you can push through. There's other things you like absolutely can't.
So I guess you can have that, but even Manny Pacquiao, after he got knocked out, he took 1 year off until he fought Bam Bam. So there's a thing that sometimes you have to have like a borderline where, because Kawhi is still on load management, and that could also get you injured if you're doing a load management because you're not
your body's not accustomed to the beating.
Exactly. So then we have 1 week off, and then you play like 3 games in a row the next week. So that could get you hurt.
So okay, you know what? Let me ask you guys a question then. So what do you think about athletes, pushing through some of these injuries and pushing through some of these, aches and pains, whatever they're going through during a game, and actually trying to, compete and that type of level of competition? Do you think that type of competitiveness is gone in all professional sports?
I don't know if it's gone, but we used to say like if you're not injured by the time the fight comes around, you didn't train hard enough, which is a weird thing to think, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because like it's a part of the sport. Even in basketball, like 82 game season, you're playing every 2 nights. Like you're injured, you're hurt. But are you to the point where like you shouldn't be playing? I think those are 2 different things, and I think the line has gone a little bit more towards caution, too much probably in basketball. Yeah.
I forgot who's George St. Pierre's trainer?
For us, a hobby.
Yeah. So I remember GSP was like, I think I pulled my groin to his trainer, and he was like, I don't care. You gotta do it. Keep fighting.
Yeah.
And I guess there's sometimes that athlete needs that little push, even though you got injured, but you gotta keep going. Like that's the difference between a normal person and champion sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Lars, I don't know. So now I just found out that you're a big basketball fan. Do you remember what happened when Kobe dislocated his finger?
He just popped it back in and kept it moving.
Oh my gosh. He walked, right?
That's how hard of a
and then pulls it back and walks right back in there, man. That, to this day.
But that guy's different, right? And that guy played through all sorts of injuries, but when he tore his Achilles, you can't do.
He ended up walking still. But that's the heart of a champion. But but I guess it's different too. Like, because if you really hurt, and sometimes social media is a big factor when it comes to injuries. Like, oh, you should play, and then I think that's the same thing what happened to KD, because people was like, oh, he should go back. They need help. They need help because it was like 3-1. And like they need help, and then KD was like, you know what? And KD, he's always in social media, so he was like, I'm gonna play. And then,
quick show of hands, who here was sweating buckets when he nailed those 3 back-to-back threes? Like literally, like this. I was like, please, my gosh! And then as soon as we saw that video of him seeing the Achilles pop, right? Because he said, "Oh, someone kicked me in the back of my leg," right? And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!" Low key, I was like, hey, come on. Yeah. I don't want to but come on, Lars. You were too. You were too. Come on, man.
I'm not gonna.
Come on.
I'm not gonna sit on TV and say I wish.
There goes your company.
But I think it annoys me sometimes. People only do it when they talk about Toronto. They go like, "Oh, you guys only won because KD got injured." It's like the first championship that the Warriors ever won. Like Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were injured. Like it's luck, right? Like every year guys get injured, and it's part of the sport. Yeah, like. Toronto's win was completely legitimate, and I'm biased because we're from Toronto. But, that's just my 2 cents on it, I guess.
Hey, no, listen, that championship. Listen, that banner is actually we saw that banner
a few weeks ago.
We
were there.
It's a nice banner.
Have you seen it?
They covered the Raptors game.
Yeah,
I'm sure I was. I don't know. I'm sure I looked up and seen it when I was in there.
Like we're literally like feet away from it. I almost went and touched her. Like, Prince, you're gonna fall off.
Right next to the bathroom.
Yes. Crazy.
But I guess that is we could have kept going, but that is it for this segment. When we come back, we're gonna learn more about Lars. So stay tuned.